It's exactly trauma. Thank you, baby.
If you would have called the fours, you could have gotten $40,000.
I shouldn't have entered the class action suit with everybody. I should have gone with Jeff Davis.
The fours.
Yes, the
Love
fours.
you, Jeff.
Yeah.
4.
Unofficial sponsor of the Slobberknocker Sports
Actually, you know what? That was a
good sponsor.
Jeff, that was a good plug right there, brother.
That's right.
All right. Listen, I know you paid Quinn Ewers like $150,000 or whatever it was to come talk to you for 2 minutes. You can get me for half the price, buddy. And we'll plug you every week.
Well, I'll do it multiple times a show before every segment. This segment's brought to you by 444-4444.
Love you, Jeff. Love you.
All right.
Love you, Nick Davis.
We're
friend of the show, too, Jeff. You didn't know. Your nephew, friend of the program.
Good buddy. Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Lieck, joined as always by my man, Uncle T. Today we have a very special guest joining us. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, and we're able to get it done today, so we will get to that interview now. All right. We'd like to welcome in a special guest. He is a Division I football player, started his career at Miami, and is now at TCU. Lucas Vargas, thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. Good to be on.
So, just question: How did you come about starting to watch the show?
So, I'm good friends with Colton Thomason. So, he told me about y'all, and I saw his episode, and I was like, oh man, I got to do it.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, we appreciate the support trying to build this thing up. So, you played at Fort Bend Christian in Texas, is that right?
Yeah, I went to high school over there.
And so, did you grow up in Texas, or are you from somewhere lived?
No, I'm from Miami. So I'm originally from Miami, and then when I was 9, we moved to Houston. So lived in Houston for a little bit, lived in Miami for a little bit, and then went back to Miami for college.
Awesome. Is that why you chose Miami? You wanted to go back where you're from?
Yeah, that was definitely part of the reason. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You like Texas or Florida better? What's the winner there?
It's hard, man. It's hard. They both have their things that I like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
living in Florida is pretty tough to beat. But I don't know. I can drive a lot faster on the roads here, so I'll say
that was a long pause. It's definitely Miami, but TCU is a beautiful campus too. So it's just 105, and there is no beach to go to. So you know.
Not at all.
Did you hit up the beaches a lot when you were in Miami?
Yeah. I mean, when we had time, you know, it was always a good time to head out there with the boys, you know, chilling. But yeah,
I've been to Miami. I've been to Miami once in my life, and I don't remember much of the trip. It was a bachelor party. It was
That's the way to go.
And the best part was there was like 12 of us, and I had already paid for the fishing portion on Saturday after we were out till 2:00 in the morning. So my buddy, who's actually, funny enough, a college football coach now at an FCS school, head coach, he tries to come in and wake me up, and he's like, "Come on, Turner, we're going fishing." I go, "Dude, I'm not going anywhere." And the other guy that was in the room with me, he's like, he played college football. He was a nose tackle. He's like, "Yeah, Turner, let's just stay here." We went for a nice little brunch, lunch, drank some, and then everybody that went on the fishing trip showed up 4 hours later. They had to turn around because everybody was throwing up on the boat. So, yeah.
It's rough out there, man. It gets choppy out there.
Yeah, I went on one deep sea fishing trip ever. It's not for me. I can't do it. Do you like to fish? Do you go out fishing a lot?
When I can, I love it, but not deep sea, man. I can't. I get sick too easy. Like, we're staying in the bay. We're staying in the, you know what I mean? We're not going out too far. I'm good, man. I'm good with my little fish.
They taste just as good in the bay 30 minutes away as they do 3 hours out.
Exactly.
No, I want no part of that.
It's a good time in the bay.
Yeah. So what was it like playing at Miami for the last year? Like, what was that experience like?
Man, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to play for Coach Cristobal. Coach Mirabal is a great coach, the offensive line coach down there. It was just a great experience, man. Like, I made some good friends. Man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Obviously, you know, some things didn't work in our favor last season. The whole Georgia Tech thing But
I was gonna ask you about that if you wanted to talk about it.
oh my gosh.
What were you? I mean, what was that like on the sideline there in that game? Like that was. I'm not gonna lie. I had a bet on Georgia Tech live. I swear to God, live in the
Oh my
game when they were down and they were like 10-1, and I took them. And I was sitting there watching the game, like, well, I lost that ticket. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, how'd they get the ball back? Like, what happened?
Listen, my boy Don Chaney, he's at Louisville now. Listen, he was down. That was not a fumble. That was not a listen. Georgia Tech should have never had that football back.
it.
But Georgia, man, it was a bad call. They got the ball back with like a minute 20, like some good time on the clock. Man, we were all just because we were undefeated up to that point. Had just come off a bye week. You know, we didn't look great, but we were gonna get the job done, and then just man,
That'll take the wind out of your sails right there. Undefeated coming off my way. Yeah, that was a brutal. I wasn't even paying attention to it. Dylan sent me like 15 texts in a row. Goes, you got to go fucking watch the end of this shit. And I know, and we're not bad mouthing anybody on the show, but Mario Cristobal, for whatever reason, God love him, he does not like to take a knee. He likes to run the ball out, for whatever reason. But I had a buddy that was on the flip side of that, like 5 years before at Oregon when the game should have been over. Yeah,
against Stanford, right?
Game.
Yeah. But I will say you are right. When I was watching the game and I saw him, he was down. Like I couldn't believe they didn't overturn the call.
So they called it a fumble on the field, I guess. Is that the deal?
Yeah,
and they called it a fumble on the field. Yeah. And then they reviewed it. Yeah.
Fumble. I was like,
yeah.
Shot,
yeah.
It was one of those stupid
and then,
ones, where the officials just stick with the call.
Yeah. And then they run a play, right? Defense isn't set. We got a linebacker playing deep safety, and it's just like it was a bad look, man. It was a bad look.
It was a bad look.
So then the season we're playing Boston College up in Boston. And, we handled them pretty good, but took a knee to end the game, and we're all like, oh, thank God, man, he learned.
Thank God we took a knee.
That's
funny.
Yeah, we were about 20 points, so it didn't really matter. But, like, we're still like, thank God he took a knee, bro.
Well, when you're up 30 points, it's usually he's got it. Poor guy's got it twisted. Taking a knee up 30 instead of running the ball down the middle in a one-score game.
Right.
Oh, man. That's why they get paid the big bucks, brother, to make decisions like that, right?
That's right. So you decided to transfer to TCU now, and I know you got a buddy there too, right? Like Remington Strickland, y'all went to high school together, and so he's going there. I'm sure you're excited about that, right?
Yeah, man. So we were never actually teammates in high school. So I transferred in the second half of after my sophomore year. So he was leaving and I was coming in. So we were never actually teammates. So this is the first time we've ever been teammates. But we were in the transfer portal at the same time. And TCU was the only school we both had an offer to. And we're like, shoot, man, let's do it. Let's go back home.
That's so cool, man. That's got to be exciting. Y'all are going to play together now. What's that experience like in the transfer portal? Like what was Colton was giving a little bit about it last week, but I'm just curious, like your experience with it.
No, man, it's kind of stressful, man. Like you don't really know where you're gonna go. You're like, dude, is this school gonna offer me? Blah blah blah. Like my experience, like this isn't really legal, but I'm checking with my boys before. I'm like, yo, like if I get in the portal, like tell your coach, like will they? I'm like, yeah, bro, come in the portal. So like, it's really just you gotta trust your boys. Like, is what they said true? Like,
right.
But yeah, no, it was stressful. Thankfully, I did pretty good. I had a few offers. Like, I was gonna go to UCLA for a little bit, and then TCU came in, so I ended up going to TCU. You got to be with my boys. So it was a good little deal.
You get to be with your boys. You get to be back in Texas, back in the 108-degree heat down here with all the humidity. So. But
man, you don't know how much you miss H-E-B until it's not there.
That's a great point right there. Yeah, he could be on the next H-E-B commercials. Be like, I came back to TCU just for H-E-B. I was going to be stuck with
right.
Trader Joe's out in
H-E-B.
California. Now I got H-E-B.
Can we get Lucas an NIL deal with H-E-B now? Come on now, that's what we need.
H-E-B, man, please. I love you. Love the grocery store.
I'm gonna at them. I'm gonna at them on this video.
I also think that obviously Fort Worth. LA is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I think as far as being a college athlete, Fort Worth and Dallas is just a perfect area too because you got plenty of stuff to do. Stuff to do, but it's not quite LA where it's just super fast paced and and TCU is a beautiful campus too. So not in the middle of the city.
Right. No, they treat us good out here. It's I will say it's a lot more of a college town than Miami was. You're going out to a club in Miami and they're get to the back of the line and they don't you play sports. So TCU here you got a little weight to you, so it's pretty good.
You definitely get some pull with football in Texas, no doubt. I coached high school basketball for a while, and it was just at a football school, and it's like football just reigns supreme in Texas above all else. They love their football here in Texas, understandably so. So, did you play any other sports growing up besides football?
Yeah. So I was a boxer when I was a little kid. That was my first sport. Tried all the other stuff, man. Just wasn't good. Was not a good baseball player. Was not a good basketball.
That's why you got good feet. Is you're a boxer, you got to have good feet. Boxing, you got to be able to move.
Yeah. So I will say I did make the middle school basketball team. The 1 year I did try out. So I just didn't want to try it the second year because I was like, I don't want to, outdo these guys again. So let me just go back.
Didn't want to embarrass anybody. I get you. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, let me just put my talents on hold for a year, and
it's funny.
Yeah, just boxing. That was my first sport.
That's cool. I never even thought about boxing. How long did you do that for?
So my last fight was my sophomore year of high school. So I started when I was 8, and then
for a long time. That's a lot of boxing.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, that's like a very physical sport, obviously. That takes a lot out of you, I'm sure.
I know a lot of people that played football that are basically, had brief stints in the NFL that all box now to stay in shape. That's what they do for their cardio now. They're like, it's a hell of a workout. Wake up early and go box. So
crazy workout. Yeah. Shoulders are fried. I try to do it now, and I'm just not in shape anymore for that. So
different kind of shape with football, right? Completely different.
It humbles you, man.
Yeah, I bet. Well, what are the off-season workouts like? Are y'all running? Is it a lot of running? Is it a lot of what's that like?
Well, I will say compared to Miami, this is it's a lot of running. It is a lot of running. I mean, I love the Miami strength staff. Those are some of the best men I know, but I will say this strength staff here at TCU is, man, they're on 10.
They like to go fast at TCU. But you got to go fast. That's why you get everybody in shape. Yeah,
for sure. But no, it's a good group of guys here, good group of coaches. Great culture. I'm definitely excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, went to a national title a couple years ago. It's been a program that's been successful for a long time and only on the uptick. Our producer, who's in the background over here, he's a huge Vanderbilt fan, and apparently y'all got Ken Seals, who transferred there.
Dog,
he's hyped. He's like, he wants to know how you feel about possibly protecting his boy Ken Seals, even though he's never met the kid and he didn't go to Vanderbilt either, but he's a massive Vandy fan.
Listen, Ken is something special, man. That's one of my best friends, bro. I mean, he is
awesome.
He can sling it for sure. But I mean, man, if he's in the game, I have the most confidence in that guy. He played against Florida as a freshman. Started his freshman year was COVID year, so all his first 9 games was an all SEC schedule. So I mean, he was thrown in the fire for sure.
Yeah,
especially on a dog shit team like Vanderbilt. I mean, my God, you're playing in the SEC, thrown in the fire. I mean,
Oh my God.
Baylor's
Yeah,
not
no,
happy with him.
definitely a rough look for the Doors. Rough look for the Doors for a few years, but nah, man. Kenny Seals, that's a quarterback
Love
right
it.
there for sure.
Man, maybe we can persuade Ken Seals to come on since his number one
we got
fan
his
is
number
our
one
producer.
fan back here. Yeah,
And we got Lucas, friend of the show now, coming on the show.
Yeah,
we'll
have to bring you both on for another joint interview.
Yeah, you guys got to both come on together.
Bailey
That would be awesome.
A few words as man.
Oh, we'll do it for sure.
That'd be a good time. Yeah. Well, are you looking forward? We talked a little bit like with Colton about this too, and we're both big NCAA football video game fans. Did you play it growing up? Are you looking forward to the game coming out here soon?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I played 08. 08 I used to grind, man. I was like a fullback or something. I would I would get the ball maybe 2 times a game. I loved it though. And then NCAA 14, I still play to this day. So I mean, I'm so excited for this new game to come out. It's gonna be a good time, and it's gonna be cool, like to see yourself in it. You know what I mean? Like,
that was my next question. I was gonna say, what's that like? Like, you get to be in the game. Like, how badass is that?
Man, it's gonna be crazy when I get that first copy and I load up the game. I'm like, well, I'm subbing myself.
I was just about to say,
like,
Lucas is gonna make himself the fullback, like old times, just hand himself the rock down low.
Regardless overall, man, I'm starting in my NCAA game for sure.
That's badass, man. That's so funny. Are you a big NFL guy? Do you have a favorite team?
Yeah, huge Dolphins fan. So
okay.
I don't want no ragging on my fins, okay?
Okay, that's fair. We won't rag on your fans. I'm a huge Tyreek Hill fan. I don't know. Do we have the Tyreek Hill jersey? We took it down because it's basketball season, but big Tyreek Hill guy here. So yeah, I like that. We like the Dolphins. We like Mike McDaniels. We tough end of the year, but they've got a lot. They're looking up.
They lost everybody. Everybody was hurt on the end of the year.
Hard couple years, man. It's been a hard couple years being a Dolphins fan. In my lifetime, I think we've made the playoffs like a handful of times. Like, I remember the first time. I think it was 2015. We made the playoffs with Matt Moore, played the Steelers in the first round, got murdered. I mean, it was like we had no business being there. But man, nah, I've always been a diehard Dolphins fan.
When you have Matt Moore starting at quarterback and you make the playoffs, that's living right there. If you get in with Matt Moore, it's like that's a win.
That's a win.
You don't expect to win that. You're going to be.
And I think we only got in because Kansas City lost and 3 other people lost, and so we just kind of went in we were not good at all.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I know how you feel. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm 30. So when I was 2, we might have won a Super Bowl, but in what I can remember, I think we've won one playoff game in my lifetime. So I feel your pain there. It's felt here.
It's rough, man. It's rough, but I'm definitely predicting. At least second round of the playoffs for sure.
Okay,
and they're going to lose the Mike Texans in the second round. CJ Stroud and the Texans. They're loaded this year, bro. They're going to be good. They've been so bad for so long. They're going to be good.
See, if the Texans play the Dolphins, then I'm going to have a Diet Pepsi case bet with you. I will take the Dolphins because of Lucas. You can have the Texans. And I'll ride Tua and the boys all the way through,
You can ride.
Hey, new Tua. He lost a bunch of weight, got a new haircut, man. Hey, I'm feeling this new Tua.
Tua's coming in shape because he was tired of hearing of people in the offseason calling him fat. Was it Ryan Clark? That was calling? I think it was Ryan Clark last year that was saying that he didn't look like a quarterback or something, and he told him to whatever. Yeah. I forgot who was talking shit about him. Someone was talking shit about him.
He got all big out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, he did. I think I heard it was something to do with the fact that, he got so injured the previous year. He wanted to put on weight so that if he took the hits, it wasn't as bad. That was my understanding, but obviously that didn't help all that much. Although he wasn't really injured last year, was it? Was he? Yeah.
No, not last year. Last year was a lot better. But man, I think we need a solid, a big backup, someone that can just go in there and just a game manager. You know what I mean? Put the boys over, give us a few points here and there, get us in field goal range.
That's right.
I don't know.
What's your setup like on Sunday? Do you have like Sunday ticket? Are you watching every game? Do you got fantasy football going?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what's going on?
So I actually flipped from the Dolphins game to the Texans game because growing up in Houston, so I'm like, hometown boys, might as well see how we're doing. So, but yeah, when I was living at home, man, we had a whole media room that's all Dolphins themed. It was because my dad's an even bigger fan than I am, so
Oh, that's awesome.
it was so much fun. Definitely growing up as a little kid, we'd be watching the game, and he's been watching the Dolphins his whole life too, and like there'd be like, I don't know, 2.5 quarters left, and he's like, "Yeah, we're losing." Then we just turn off the game, and then it's like, how do you know that? It's like
Those are the real fans, like Big Dog on the show here. He's a diehard Cowboys fan, and he will every week listen to Cowboys radio for 5 days and tell us how they're going to fucking lose. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be 14-point favorites against the Panthers. He'd be like, "It's going to be fucking close. I don't know if we're going to win. It's going to be real fucking close. But we might win it by a field goal. We might lose."
Yeah.
It's like, I told you. And as soon as it's like tied at the end of the first quarter, he's giving up on them, and he'll be in there.
Right.
Because people don't have faith in their
that's
team,
how
man.
That's how you know you're a diehard NFLer. When you're just like, give up on your team in the first quarter. It's over. Turn it off. Let's go do something else.
I never ever do that. I've never done that before in my life.
Who's an absolute psychopath, is a diehard Michigan fan. This is hysterical. And he used to watch them on the weekend, and it would ruin his whole weekend if they lost. So what he started doing was he would record the games, and then he would check the score 3 hours, and if they won, he would watch the whole game, and if not, he would just delete it on his TV. And he goes,
"It's kind of smart. You save yourself 3 hours if they lose."
That's all he does.
That's so funny. If you had to pick one,
happy though.
Finally got one.
If you had to pick one team to win the Super Bowl who was not your Dolphins, who would it be?
Yeah, I might go with the Texans. For the boys,
okay.
for the H.
Staying loyal. I like it. Have you followed the NBA at all? Have you been following the NBA playoffs?
Man, off and on. I'm a little bit of a closet Heat fan, so once I saw that they weren't doing too hot, I was like, oh, man.
But
we got the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. Shout out to the boys.
That's right. Turner predicted the Panthers would go and win the Stanley Cup. I think Game 2, like, literally might be starting right now. Like, I think it's tonight, isn't it? Yeah.
Go Panthers. Go Bobrovsky. He saves everything. We'll see how they do.
Dude, I was surprised Stars were looking pretty good there for a little bit. I was like, eh.
Yeah, I jinxed them by betting on them, and it just it was my fault. That's why they lost. I had put a bet on them in Game 5 and Game 6. Game 6, they outshot the Oilers like 35-10 and fucking lost 2-1. I don't even know that happens. They literally could not score a fucking goal. It was ridiculous.
How it goes.
Nah. A bunch of guys on the team were excited though. They were like, playoff hockey, man. I was like, dude, I don't know, man.
So are you like a sports junkie? Will you do you follow baseball, hockey, basketball, like all different things?
Yeah. So, a little bit of everything. Baseball. Listen, man, you thought being a Dolphins fan was bad. I'm a Reds fan.
Oh, how did you end up being a fucking Reds fan? Because I'm the baseball guy here. Dylan doesn't give a shit about baseball. How the fuck did you end up a Reds fan, dude? Living in Miami.
So my dad is a Reds fan, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a Marlins fan. You know what I mean? Hometown, whatever.
And when you were young, the Marlins were actually relevant. They were okay when you were a youngster.
Yeah. Hey, perfect. Yeah. Perfect record
Miguel
in the World
Cabrera,
Series, man.
Yep. They were the young Miguel Cabrera. They were good.
But so we have family in Ohio, so that's how my dad became a Reds fan. And so once I started following baseball a little bit more, I was like, you know what? Let me go with the old man. Let me be a Reds fan. And man, I think the worst part about being a Reds fan is the season.
Yeah. It's 162 games long. It's being a Dolphins fan, it's only 17 games. Reds, you got 162.
Right. It hurts a little less.
The Reds are funny because I mean, Ellie Dela Cruz is an awesome player. You know, you got some young talent.
Yeah, but he'll be there for like what, a year or two more, and then the Yankees will
It's
sign him.
100%
And
true. But yeah, the owner for the Reds needs to start spending some fucking money because it's a very winnable. It's a very winnable division now.
There's no
The I mean, you got a small market Brewers winning the division. You can win that division.
It is 100%. But we can't hit, man. Our hitting, I don't know if we have a guy that's above 500. I'm watching the games. Everyone's batting average is like 240. Like that. What are we doing?
Not a great hitting team.
Got a couple more questions. I'm just curious, what game are you looking forward to most to play this year? Like, have you looked at the schedule at all?
Yeah. So, man, that's hard because a bunch of my, so Miami had a bunch of guys leave, man. A bunch of guys from my class, and a lot of them went to the Big 12. So, UCF, play my boy Ja'Cory. Really excited to play JB. SMU's got like 20 Miami transfers, so that'll be a good time. U of H, my boy Jay Wood, gonna play Jay Wood. They're coming up to Dallas, so that'll be fun. Man, I'm excited. Arizona's gonna be a good game.
I forgot because they're in the Big 12 now, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at your schedule right now. Yeah, y'all got that'll be a fun schedule there. What were like some of the most fun games you experienced last year at Miami? Like, I know obviously we talked about the Georgia Tech one, but like positive. Y'all played? Didn't y'all play A&M early in the year or no?
Yeah. We played A&M week 3, I want to say.
Yeah.
Got to beat up on the Aggies. I never let him forget it. You know what I mean? My roommate, my current roommate went to A&M last year, played them. You gotta let them know, man. Let them know we won the game. They came down to Hard Rock, just come out alive. But A&M was fun. Florida State's always that. I mean, the week leading into Florida State is like, you're in the indoor, you're in meetings, and they're playing that friggin' war chant, and it's just so annoying, and you just want to get the game over with, and it's just like, dude, can we move on? But man, Florida State, what was it? Clemson, when we beat Clemson in overtime, we all rushed the field. That was a lot of fun for sure.
Y'all played
dude, yeah, that one felt.
They played A&M at night. Y'all played A&M at night last year, right? A night game at Kyle Field. I can't remember. Was it a night? Or did y'all play them at home?
Oh yeah. The year before last year, we played them in Kyle Field.
Got it. Yeah. I remember that one. I forgot that they went to Miami and y'all beat them this last year.
Yeah,
that's last season.
I think was the one at Kyle Field. Didn't Miami wasn't it a really close game?
It was
am I wrong? Was that,
it was close.
Yeah.
I think Miami kind of sold it there at the end a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Did y'all go to a bowl game? I can't remember last year.
Yeah. We played Rutgers in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yankee Stadium.
We played at Yankee Stadium, which was a lot of fun as a baseball fan, I will say. That's like
yeah, what a cool experience.
Yeah. I know my poor dad's like, dude, I almost became a Yankees fan. Like, you're walking around the stadium, there's so much history, and you're like, wow, man. Like,
right.
being in the clubhouse, you're like, all right, this is cool.
He was so ready to just leave the Reds in the rearview mirror and just go to the Yankees. It'd be so much easier.
Man, I've been telling him since I was a little kid, man. I was like, Dad, the day the Reds go to the World Series, I'm gonna put you behind home plate.
There you go. I love it.
But
that's awesome.
For a while, so
you're gonna be okay for a while. There's no doubt.
All right, man. Well, you got anything else, Turner?
No, man. Thanks for coming on. It was a great interview.
No, it's awesome, man. And for real, like I'll just say this, like, you're welcome to come on the show anytime. Like, I know you're busy with your season or whatever, but like, if during the season you're like, hey, can I jump on for 30 minutes for this week or something? You're welcome to. If you want to try to get, and if you want to try and get Ken Seals or ever on the show, man, that would be awesome. That helps.
That would make Bailey's week, maybe his month. What? Oh yeah, he goes. Yes, get him on. He wants to get Seals. Oh my God, he's starstruck. Elvis.
When y'all put it out, I'm gonna send him the clip to him, and he'll.
Yeah, we gotta have it.
Oh, I love it. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a while. I'm really glad we finally got it to work. So thank you again.
Me too, man. Again, thanks so much. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. And we'll, like I said, I'll hit you up with all the info for the link and stuff when it comes out. But we'll talk to you soon, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll have you on again here soon, man. Have a great season. Good luck with everything. Hopefully we talk again soon before, but if not, then have a great season.
Thanks, brother. Have a good one,
man.
Best of luck, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all too.
All right. Thanks again to Lucas for joining the show. Great interview. Got some good stories on there. Looking forward to having him back on. Bailey is overly hyped about the possibility of Ken Seals coming on here.
I've never seen anybody fanboy harder for literally anybody, but I would, if I was Seals, like, he needs to come on the podcast just to talk to his biggest fan, but it was a little creepy how excited Bailey was to have him on.
You have no idea.
Bailey is a diehard Vanderbilt fan. So this is literally, I remember hearing the name. I know he's a good high school football player. I know he played at Vanderbilt, but Bailey is just, you got to come on. You got to talk to your guy here. You're the biggest Seals fan. Yeah.
He needs you.
This side of the Mississippi.
We might have to make merch. We have to make shirts. That's a Seals biggest fan with his face on the shirt. I don't know. We'll see.
Something.
We love you, Ken.
We love you, Ken. There you go. I mean, very possible, but we are looking forward to that. I hope we can make that happen.
Yeah.
I was talking to Bailey actually about NCAA football the other day. We brought that up a second ago. And we were talking about Road to Glory. And he said, of course, his first is going to be quarterback at Vanderbilt when he gets the new game. Obviously. However, he said he used to play and he would play with like all the defensive positions. Like he would play cornerback and defensive line. I couldn't do that. I'm the guy who plays. I'm either a quarterback or a running back. I need to touch the ball every possession, every play. It just has to happen.
That Road to Glory, you have to just play quarter. I mean,
you could do running back because running back, it allows you, well, at least the old one, once you got like the highest level of trust, you could actually check the play to a run like every single time somehow. And so you could literally get the ball every single play.
I actually think I remember you doing that 10 plus years ago. So look at my guys run for 8,000 yards this year.
That's what I do.
Gonna win the Heisman 4 straight times.
I play on like the second lowest difficulty.
It's like rookie mode, just running through.
No, it's the best way to play.
Bailey was at Vanderbilt playing nose on all Heisman, and it's just getting gashed every single play.
How is that
Bailey,
fun?
there's honor in that though. There really is.
Would you do that?
It's like, yeah, because,
you just said quarterback was the only way. Make up your fucking mind.
No, I wouldn't do it, but I will say there's honor in doing that. Like if you're one of the guys that's nuts enough to be like, I'm going to play nose tackle for Vanderbilt. I'm going to play on Heisman against SEC, and everybody's just running by you. Bailey only had like 5 tackles the whole year.
He's trying to fix his mic. It's too much over there. All right. He's got it muted. So he's got to unmute it and then go back.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of work, Bailey.
A lot of work. Yeah, he's the producer. Now he's a member of the show.
We're going to get Seals on there for you, Bailey. Don't you worry.
Couple of quick things I got to do. We'll do quick business of the week. I'm going to give it to Brava. I think I texted you about this. I had their pizza the other day.
Yeah.
What's the style pizza it's called? Neapolitan.
Yeah.
It's a Neapolitan style, but I will say this. One of the best pizzas I've had. A lot of flop going on, not going to lie, but the crust is crunchy on the end, and the sauce is phenomenal. Also, I called it in, and the dude was like, it'll be ready in 5 minutes. And I was like, okay. And I was right down the street. So I pulled up 2 minutes later. I went in, I paid. It was ready in 5 fucking minutes. And it wasn't like that one time. I went back a couple days later, got it. It was ready in 5 fucking minutes. So
was it just as good the second time or no?
It was, okay, so it was slightly worse the second time, but it was still really good. The only reason I would say that is because...
Probably not a good question for the weekly shout-out. Listen, you got good pizza, guys.
No, I'm just saying, I was so hungry the first time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, man, this is amazing. So I went back to see, like, okay, was I just starving or was this good? I went back, in other words, it went from, like, say I rated it 8.3. It was an 8.1 the second time. It was phenomenal the second time. It just was slightly less good because I wasn't starving. Regardless, it's on Broadway. It's really good. I know they've got other things there. People go in there all the time. It's a good little spot. Brava on Broadway, San Antonio Business of the Week. And then I will go with 2 things, and you can jump in if you have a best thing you saw this week. But the worst thing I saw this week was Jason Tatum last night, 6 of 21. He was horrific. Turned the ball over. Looked like a bum. He was terrible game 1, terrible game 2. I posted a TikTok about it. There was 97 comments. There was 97 comments. I have not gone to read them because I'm sure they're hateful against me, but I had to do it. I said, I've been saying this for 2 months and for 2 years, really, how much of a bum he is. He's a front runner. Okay, so worst thing I saw, out of the way. Last thing, best thing I saw this week, and you're going to fucking love this. Did you see the video of James Harden at the wedding?
Yeah, I did.
God, that's okay. I'm going to play it right now.
That was a classic.
This is, Bailey, have you seen this? Hold on, I got to show it to you real quick. I got to pull it up. So she throws the flower. James Harden's girl catches it. Now, hold on. This is his reaction.
Kiss him a big hug. Oh, boy.
His eyes. That's like the kiss of death right there.
Yeah,
he's seeing all the strip clubs flash before his eyes.
Trust me, it doesn't matter who he marries. He's going to be there every day, 5 days a week still. The guy's the biggest strip joint connoisseur than anybody in America.
It's a good way to describe him.
Everywhere he goes, he's at the old titter, if you will.
He's at the perfect 10.
The kids call it the old titter.
The perfect 10. Or who? Oh, wasn't that J.R. Smith? No.
Show some respect. Lou Williams, bro.
Oh, thank you. Lou Williams. Please. Yeah, Lou Williams. Got wings from the strip club.
Wings. Best wings in the city. I remember when they said that. They're like, he's like, no, I just wanted to get some wings. They do. Everybody does say best wings. I think it's in the ATL, I believe.
It's the best. Those are the best wings, really?
Yeah, Magic City. That's
wow,
what they say, Magic
I would have
City
never
wings.
guessed. That's crazy. If we were, we're gonna get a racehorse when we get big. Should we own a strip club too?
Of course.
What should we call it?
Big Dog is strip club.
Can we stop bringing? I don't want to talk about Big Dog. I don't want him mentioned on the show.
Bailey, will you please step in and defend your man over there? You're not going to do it.
The dog.
Now we're talking.
Nothing with his name.
Brilliant. The doghouse.
What
just
what about
simply the pound?
What about rock?
The pound.
What about rock paper strippers?
That's a good one.
That's a good one, right? I like that one.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. The leather hippo. I just came to mind. I have no idea. I don't know.
It is funny that your dad's not even on this show. You always knock him for talking about strippers, but here we are.
Well, look.
And you brought this up.
Because we brought up James Harden, who, of course, is his favorite player. All right. Let's get on to some real sports topics here. And we obviously have to start with the NBA Finals. Don't worry, Turner. There's like 1 week left. Actually, if the games keep going like this, we'll be done talking about it next week.
You're going to have to carry me in this conversation because I told you.
No, you watched the game. You just didn't watch the whole game.
I watched both games.
Shut the fuck up. That's so fucking stupid.
Both games, folks.
God damn.
You can cut that if you want.
I'm not cutting his shit.
Games.
People need to know. People need to know how I prepare for the show and how you prepare for the show.
Both games.
You fucker.
I was watching America's team, the San Antonio Brahmas.
I watched both. I was at a bar,
San
restaurant.
Antonio Brahmas.
You know what's funny? I walked in.
Who did you go over there with?
Two of my former players.
Are they old enough to drink yet?
So I forgot. Ethan and but we weren't drinking. It was Ethan and Teeple. Teeple, the one who knocked you out of the poker tournament, who you love.
Jesus. Went to Tennessee, Bailey. By the way,
Bailey, he's a huge Tennessee fan, and I told him that you were a Vanderbilt. Goes to Tennessee, huge Tennessee fan. I told him you were a big Vanderbilt fan, and I said if y'all are ever out together, you got to tell me. I'm gonna come in all Tennessee gear, like full jersey, gloves, hat, like everything, all the way through. So he said he would never go. Yeah, but I would trick you, obviously. So shout out to Gavin Teeple and Ethan Ortiz. We watched the game last night, but when I walked in, we went to walk-ons just right next door to Texas Roadhouse.
What did you get to eat?
Shrimp po' boy.
It's good.
They
have good shrimp.
They have good shrimp.
I mean, for what it is, it's fine.
It's fine. It's not.
And the problem with that place is, I know you don't drink, and I know they weren't either. You go into that place, it's like $8 a domestic beer.
We were talking about that.
Someone like John Daly Jr. over here, and you drink 42 of them, it adds up real quick.
We were talking about that last night. I
always get my tab there. It's like I ate $20 worth of food, and it's $72. I'm just like, good God, I gotta start going somewhere else.
That's like
it's a decent place though.
That's like when I used to go to Line in the Rose. We'd go do trivia there on Tuesday nights, and I would get Jack and Coke. I'd get a Jack and Coke, and it was like $8.50. And I swear to God, at the end of every night, she would charge, like, I would get 9 and she would charge me for 11. And I I couldn't remember how many I had. Every time I went there, $120, like without fail. I could not avoid
9
spending.
Jack and Cokes is fairly impressive.
Oh, well, dude, back in my heyday, I could
Jack and Cokes.
I could
Yeah, I've just never been, the Jack and Cokes have just never been my,
I just can't drink that much beer.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
And I'm not doing shots.
Mixed drinks, I always try to go, when I'm really, really drunk and like I'm at summer places, I go Diet Coke Wild Turkey.
Okay.
Because it's just a great, the turkey diets is just such a great name. You go up and order a turkey diet at the
like
bar.
that.
But
Tito's and orange juices was my go-to.
Screwdriver. Yeah, Tito's and soda is just
shout out
Tito's. Normal
Tito's.
Sparkling water, only Tito's. It's the only thing we drink.
We don't drink anything else when it comes to liquor. Only Tito's. It is the best in the business.
Yes.
Please. We don't. Please.
I'll dress up Tito's pants, shirt, hat.
I'll tattoo
sunglasses.
I will tattoo my ass with a Tito's vodka logo.
Shit, I'll tattoo my forehead.
So shout out to Tito's. That's not the business of the week or anything. That is the business of the show.
Business of the century.
Of the century. That's right.
Please.
Dear God. I mean, could there be a better business? No. All right, let's get to the finals now. What we really are here to talk about.
Let's get there.
All right, so game 2 last night. Mavs blow a big opportunity. They lose at 105-98. As I mentioned before, Jason Tatum, horrific. 6 of 21 from the floor, 1 of 7 from 3, turned the ball over. Some people are like, well, he had 12 assists and 9 rebounds. Like, the guy makes $35 million a year to be a scorer, to be the best player on the Celtics, and he's clearly not.
I'll tell you this. Listen. Not my fat ass could go out on an NBA court and grab 5.
Exactly. That's my point.
5.
That's my point.
And and not even maybe exert that much effort. Probably wouldn't score, but I could grab no one's crashing the glass in the NBA these days. Probably grab 5 of them for you. You're gonna have to carry this, Coach Lieck, basketball. You're gonna have to carry this conversation.
I got it.
All I know is I don't know much about game 1.
There was nothing much to know. They got blown out. Wasn't close.
A bad night for me. Lots of chispas at El Mirasol. Up way too late on a Thursday night. Okay. Yeah. And with my brother. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is game 2. I'm looking at the box score while I'm watching the UFL. Okay. The greatest league on earth, the Brahmas. But I look at the box score and Luka's like 8 of 12. With, whatever amount of points, like 25 points, like a triple-double, essentially. I don't know if he had it yet. He did get a triple-double.
He did end up getting it.
And Jason Tatum was like 3 for 12.
Yes.
I'm like, how the fuck are they losing this game? And then, obviously, Kyrie wasn't playing great. But the surrounding cast for the Mavericks wasn't that bad. But then you look at the box score.
It was the threes.
A big deal was the Mavs turned it over 3 or 4 more times. Yeah. But I think the Celtics were 19 to 20 from the stripe, the Mavs missed like 8 or 9 free throws.
So they did. So the Mavs were 16 to 24. That's a great point. And Boston was 19 to 20. They lost by 7. That's a 7. If each team makes all their free throws, it's a tie game, right? So 100% free throws played a role. Like you said, turnovers were 15 to 11 in favor of, or more turnovers for the Mavericks. But nonetheless, you look at it again, like you said. So Luka finishes with a 32-point triple-double. He shoots just under 60% from the field and 45% from 3, and they lose the game. While Jason Tatum shoots 6 for 21 and 1 for 7 from 3. That hurts. Like, that was a great opportunity. And you look at it, you break down some of the reasons why. The first reason why was Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving in game 1 was horrific. He was 6 of 19 from the field with 12 points. He then went out, had the audacity to go out in the media and say, man, those Boston fans, I thought it was going to be way worse. They didn't really do anything. And then you have Portnoy sitting in the front row with the Kyrie clown shirt, and they're going absolutely nuts. And going nuts at him. I mean, he poked the wrong bear.
He's just trying to. That's just Kyrie, right?
Yeah, but since he stepped on the Celtics logo, he's like 1-13 against the Celtics.
No, he hadn't won at all, I don't think.
I had one in the playoffs for sure. Maybe he hasn't won it all overall.
I don't know.
Very possible.
Yeah.
but it's either 1-13 or 0-14, one of the two. And so he follows it up after that and poking the bear, and he comes out and shoots 7 for 18 in game 2 for 16 points. So he's shooting in the series 35% from the field. He has not made a single three. He's 0 for 8 in the series. 0 for 8.
Yeah.
And listen, I get it, right? Like, guys have off games. He's older. I've been saying this the entire playoffs, even when they won. Kyrie Irving, you go out and pay the guy $40 fucking million a year for a guy who you knew when shit hits the fan usually goes the wrong way, right? Over the past 8 years of his career, that's what's happened. And everybody's talking about this revitalizing his career in Dallas and all that. The point is, he only does that because Luka's the greatest player in the world right now. That's the only reason. And all the pressure's off of him. So then he comes out and does that again. And you have Jalen Brunson, who you refused to pay I can't remember if it was 11 or 13 million a year. You didn't want to pay Jalen Brunson, who was the leading scorer in the NBA playoffs, $13 million a year. You instead went out and paid $40 million to Kyrie to shit on you in the biggest moment. I mean, come on. That was reason number one. Absolutely. Hands down, Kyrie shitting the bed in game 2. If he has a half-decent night, they win. They do. And he missed every shot down the stretch. I also
saw, just looking at the box score, I mean, you got to be able to shoot better than, I think it was like 26. Now, both teams are that way. But the Mavericks on the road, I mean, the Mavs are usually a pretty good three-point shooting team, are they not? I mean,
they are.
Luka, Kyrie, then you have, obviously, what's his name?
PJ Washington, Hardaway. Jr. So here's the thing.
It's like they have guys that can shoot threes, and it was like 26%. Like, and that's what cost them the game. If they shoot 38% from three, they win.
Absolutely.
So it's like that crazy.
So here's the thing, right? So you're absolutely right. Dallas shot, I believe it was somewhere around that same percentage. It might have been worse in game 1. So you had to expect they were going to come back and shoot it better because they've been a good three-point shooting team all playoffs and for most of the season, right? Wrong. They were just as bad in game 2. And that's why it was such a missed opportunity, because the Celtics shot, I think it was somewhere like 28%. Like, they were horrible from three. They were 10 for 39.
In game 2. Anyway.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about game 2. So they were 10 for, the Celtics were like 38% in game 1. Game 2, they were 10 for 39. They shot it really bad. Tatum shot it bad. Nobody made a lot of threes except for, I think, Drew Holiday shot it okay. So they shoot it like that. Dallas has to shoot it better. And it's 100% on Kyrie and the role players. Luka Doncic in this series from three so far in the 2 games is 8 of 21 for 38%. Great number, especially for a guy of that volume. The rest of the team, 5 for 32 for 15.6%. And one of those made threes last night was by Dante Exum. So in 2 games, they've had 4 threes made from guys who are normally in their rotation. You brought up Tim Hardaway Jr. Jason Kidd has basically taken him out of the lineup. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You're in a series where you're struggling to score. You're struggling to have guys. You look at the box score. Boston had 4 guys or 5 guys, I think it was 4, above 18 points. Dallas had 1. Luka. Nobody else. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a scorer. He didn't play. I don't like Jaden Hardy, but he is a scorer. He played 2 minutes last night. It makes no sense. He was playing lineups with Maxi Kleber and Daniel Gafford on the floor at the same fucking time. It made no sense. And by the way, Jason Kidd is absolutely to blame for this. If you want to talk about a guy who has just completely gotten credit for doing absolutely fucking nothing, there is Jason Kidd. In his playoff career without Luka Doncic, he's 9-15. With Luka Doncic, he's 21-16. In series with Luka, 5-1. Without him, he's 1-3. And that includes a span where he had Giannis Antetokounmpo on his team. Okay, he is not a good coach. He's built a pretty good staff. That's helped them get here. He has Luka. Kyrie has played good for most of the playoffs. That's helped them. And then you have guys like Maxi Kleber and PJ Washington, guys who have made threes throughout the year who aren't making threes right now. Like you said, PJ Washington, 1 for 8 from 3 in the series. Derrick Jones Jr., 1 for 5, and he's airballed 3. Josh Green, 1 for 4. Maxi Kleber, 0 for 2. Like, it's just not going to cut it. And so you wasted a huge opportunity. Boston did what they always do. In game 2, they shit themselves, and they play really poorly. They were saved by Drew Holiday, plain and simple. Jaylen Brown was pretty good. Drew Holiday, 26. He was phenomenal. It was awesome. And every big shot down the stretch. I mean, and guarded Kyrie the entire game and held him to nothing. So, to me, I'm curious if what do you think this series is over? Can Dallas win 2 in a row? We were talking about it a little bit.
I mean, I would say no, they can't win 2 in a row. I do think it still has a chance to go 6 because Boston has lost games at home through this year. So maybe like 6 games, Celtics win. I just can't get over the fact that Tatum played that bad and Luka played that well and the Mavs still lost. It's just hard for me to get. But I was telling someone this the other day. I mean, you follow the NBA way more than me, but the American Airlines Center has been a great home court throughout, these playoffs.
It has.
And I saw the Mavs are favored by 1 or 2. So they could end up winning 2 in a row at home. I mean, they could, but I think more than likely they split it and then go back to Boston.
I think that's probably what happens.
But they could still win. I would not be surprised if they split and then won game 5 and then came back home.
I agree with that.
Because Boston has lost games at home. They lost one to the Cavs and one to the Heat, and should have lost at least 1 to the Pacers.
Yeah,
so
exactly, and they've done that. I think they're 18-15 at home in the past 3 seasons in the playoffs, and that includes the last 2 wins. Right, like going into the finals, they were right at 500. So they're not like unbeatable at home. I think the key is this: Dallas's role players, for the most part, have played better at home, but they've stepped up on the road. In the Minnesota series, they stepped up big time on the road at times. And so now you've basically left yourself very little room for error. You have to have multiple role players step up in game 3 and game 4. Like, one of them is not enough. If you lose one of those games, the series is over because you just don't have the same roster that Boston has, right? Like Jason Tatum shooting, I think it's like 30% from the field in the first 2 games, and they win both games and cover both spreads. Given last night was kind of a fortunate way for it to cover. Also,
how many they won by?
They won by 7, and Dallas didn't foul with 27. Like, there was a 3-second difference. Dallas missed a 3 down 7 and didn't foul. They were trying to trap, and then it got down to 10 seconds. They were like, whatever, fuck it. Yeah. And I don't know. I know you didn't watch the end of it, but the end of the game, Dallas made it real. They were down 10 with 2 minutes. And Luka got an and 1. They got a stop, scored, cut it to 5, and then stole the ball.
Saw the highlight. Yeah.
PJ Washington
got it to 5. He got fouled.
He got fouled, and that would have been a 3-point game with they could have played it out. They wouldn't have had to foul. It would have been a 3-point game with 50 seconds to go. So, and that would have been a typical way for the Mavs to win a game and the Celtics to lose it. It wouldn't have been surprising at all. It could have flipped the whole series. I do think it's worth mentioning that this Boston team has blown this with Tatum. It has only happened once. There's something ridiculous. Like Boston overall, when they go up 2-0, is like 40-1. But one team, it was against, I think it was 2018 in the Eastern Conference Finals. I forget if it was against was it the Raptors or was it the Bucks? I can't remember. They were up 2-0 and blew it and lost. So this core group, they didn't have Drew Holiday, obviously, or Kristaps. This core group has blown it before. And I will say one other thing that I think is important mentioning. Kristaps Porzingis did have a weird fall at the end of the game. He claims he's fine. He's going to play game 3. If for some reason he's hobbled or injured, that is a huge difference maker because his presence out of the rim has really, really bothered some of Dallas's other guys. It hasn't bothered Luka. It's bothered everybody else. And so if he is somewhat injured and now all of a sudden Al Horford and now you have to put Luke Cornett in the mix, then, standing at the basket 2 feet away with your hands up, if you're Luke Cornett, it's not going to work. So we'll see. I don't want to say Dallas is dead yet, but I think I will say if Dallas loses game 3, it's a sweep. They'll give up game 4. That they're not the type of team to fight back and win. If game 3 they win, now all of a sudden we got a game to make this a series in game 4. They lose game 3, it's going to be a sweep. I do think Dallas will get the whistle in game 3. Boston got the whistle early in game 2 and all of game 1. I think Dallas will get the whistle in game 3.
Yeah.
So
they're going to definitely try to.
They want
do
this
everything
to go
they can.
2-2 back to Boston is ideal. So that's all for the NBA Finals. We can move on. We'll talk. Obviously, we mentioned it with Lucas, but NHL. Obviously, I know it's going on right now. I don't even know.
Yep.
Is there
1-0 Edmonton? I'm following it right
1-0 Edmonton.
There,
I was considering betting on it, and I was like, bad idea.
Edmonton obviously dominated really the run of play in game 1, and Sergei Bobrovsky was so good. He shut him out. And I mean, he shut him out with, I think Edmonton had 5 legitimate 4 to 5 legitimate breakaways. And he stopped every single one of them. And it was just incredible. This game, you definitely figured, Edmonton was going to come out. Edmonton has been a great first period team all season, all playoffs. So you thought they would come out and kind of, try to take control. But funny enough, looking at it now, they only have 4 shots and they scored 1 goal on it. And it's the reverse. The Panthers have 9 shots and haven't scored.
Right.
So Skinner hadn't given up a goal yet. But
so, yeah, and I had the over in that game. I was losing my mind. There was a goal like 4 minutes into the game, and then he was just making the very first play of the game. Bobrovsky made a mistake, and it was basically a breakaway. He lost the puck in front of the net.
Shot it right off his face, right off the mask.
Yes. I mean, he was incredible.
I think this is going to end up being a really good series. I think Florida ends up winning in 6 or 7, but just because of the goal, just because of Bobrovsky. I mean, Florida's going to have to make some adjustments, and I don't want to pretend to know I know a ton about hockey, but I know more than most of the, your average citizens down here in Texas. And I mean, they gave up a crazy amount of chances in game 1. And it seems like they're doing a better job through one period. Like we said, we're doing this podcast and not watching it. But they've only given up 4 shots.
4 shots.
And 1 did go in. So I don't know. I haven't seen the highlight of that yet.
Matthias Ekholm scored it. McDavid assisted. So, and it was 11-17 to go in the first period. Yeah. So it was midway through. Yeah. So that we'll monitor that game as it's going here through. We're going to be, we'll try to keep this a little short as we move through here, but yeah. So you think it's going to be a longer series?
I think it'll be a long series. Yeah. 6 or 7. I think Florida wins just because of the goaltender. Yeah. He's much better than Stuart Skinner. So we will see.
Yep. So
after that, what did we also miss? Yeah. So, the Memorial.
So that's one. So Memorial, Scotty Scheffler wins the Memorial. It is his 5th win in 8 starts, and it's his 5th win in 7 starts in which he did not get arrested at the tournament. So there's a positive there too, right? If he doesn't get wrongfully fucking arrested, he usually wins the golf tournament, right? Like that was the only time really that, and what's crazy is I think I looked it up. Of the starts this year, he's only not finished in the top 10 one time. It's 12 of 13 and then 9 of 13 in the top 5. He's got like 2 or 3 where he tied for second and has won 5 times. He's obviously an overwhelming favorite at Pinehurst number 2, which is where the U.S. Open is. That'll be Thursday. What do you think? Do you think Scheffler? I have a ticket on him. Do you think he's down to plus 300?
He's the shortest favorite since like Tiger in the early 2000s. I think plus 325. They said or something. I saw
like plus 300 last night.
Whatever. Yeah, plus 300, plus 325. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I mean he's been that good. I've always told you here, and anybody that listened, I mean, that's 3-1 is probably too short of a price, but I mean, the guy's playing.
How could you bet against him?
Yeah, you can't really bet against him. I mean, the guy's playing that well. I think it's actually, not to say that if he would have choked, because he was, my whole thing is, say he finished like 3rd or 4th this week and wasn't like great. I feel like winning the Memorial is not a detriment. It's like great that he won that, but he shot a 74 on Sunday, ended up squeaking out, holding on, made a nice putt, but it's an emotional win for him. His wife was there, his kid, his firstborn, was there, and it was just such a big win for him, shaking Jack's hand, and it's a big emotional high. We'll see. He's a pretty even-keeled guy, so you would expect him to just be fine U.S. Open, but for you, because you bet on it, like for me,
I got him at plus 450.
Sure, good odds. Yeah. But for me, I would have rather him finish like 2nd or 3rd.
I was rooting for him to lose. I know.
It's such an emotional win. You got your kid there, and it's like, he was, emotional at the end of it. Yeah. And it's just like.
The only thing I will say.
I don't know. But Pinehurst suits him very well. That's what people have said. Well, and I know. I mean, it's one of those deals. So, it's going to be tough to beat him.
Yeah, and the other thing is the one reason I also was like okay with him winning, and I agree. Like I was like, I don't want him to win. I got this ticket on him to win next week, but he had never won after the month of April. So like he had all of his wins.
So weird.
It's crazy. So like And I'm sure he knows that. Like, he's aware of the fact that, like, as the season has gone on, he has not won, right? So that mental barrier of like, okay, I've won outside of April now. Like, maybe it's a relief, but I agree. Like, that's definitely an emotional high. I didn't realize how like important that tournament was to people, I guess, because Jack designed the course. Is that right? Is that why it's such a big deal?
Yeah, it's Jack's tournament.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only he's designed several courses, but not only is that's like his club.
Gotcha.
Like his deal. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Jack's place. Yeah.
People were coming up after the 18th and shaking his hand and stuff. And I know Adam Hadwin was like one of the guys in the mix, and he's like, yeah, it's just playing tough. I mean, Scheffler was 2 over on Sunday and still won. He was just had a 4-shot lead going in.
Looking at the odds here, they have on ESPN. I would my just
right
quick glance bet would be he's been knocking on the door. I don't know if he'll win, but he's been
Morikawa?
Very top 5. It's 4-1.
Okay.
Top 5 Morikawa.
He's
4-1.
In great
He's been
form.
right there, and it's just like he drives it so well that you feel like if it's 4-1 for him to be in top 5, and that's usually ties. I think that's a pretty good bet.
That's a
for
good
him
point.
Just being
Actually,
in
I'm going to take that. Yeah. I like that.
I mean, obviously, they have Koepka right behind it at 4.5 to 1 to be top 5, and then what is it? It's 15 and like 16 to or 15 and 18 to win the tournament. Morikawa might win the tournament. He might be worth a few bucks on that. But I mean, if you already had that ticket for Scotty, it might be worth putting a couple bucks on Morikawa just because he's been so consistent and good. But I think top 5 for him's
I like that bet.
good play.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been right there knocking the door. I don't know if he'll break through, and it's golf, right? Who knows?
Anyone else? If you had to pick, if you had to pick anybody else to win the thing, since you already said Morikawa,
a little bit of a long shot.
Don't say more. Even if it's not a long shot, just anyone but Morikawa and Scheffler. Because since you already said Morikawa, who would you pick to win the tournament? It can be, you can say it's a long shot or just somebody you think has a legitimate shot who's one of the other favorites, because there's not really any favorites because Scheffler's such the big favorite.
If I was betting a straight up winner,
besides
him, it would be DeChambeau. He's been
He's been playing really good.
Been playing very well. Yeah. Very, very well.
I could see that too. And his short game has been much better.
Funny enough, it's like I know you're not a fan. It's very funny how.
Of who?
DeChambeau.
I actually started to watch his YouTube channel and I've become a big fan.
That was hilarious because that's the point I was going to make.
Sorry.
He was like the most, no, but that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you did not like him. And I know you
didn't. And I started to like him a lot.
It was perfect for this take because he has made the biggest turnaround. And so people have always thought he was the biggest douche ever. And then now he's doing this YouTube deal and just hooking up with all the YouTube golfers and just doing fun things. Yep. And so I've always known he was like that because he was in close with the Barstool guys, like way back. Like he'd be like, yeah, I'll do stuff with y'all. Like, what do y'all want to do? Like fun stuff and like whatever. But he got, which I get because he was, the mad scientist and was trying to be real serious all the time and then realized, but that was never, that was his persona and his personality on the golf course.
Right.
It was never it off the golf course. He tried to be 2 different people. And I'm sure someone like his agent was like, dude, just be you and do the stuff you want to do and like, whatever. And he's gotten like you said, you hated him and now you're a fan.
Legitimately.
It's like an absolute, like people used to heckle him all the time and say Brooksy and this, that, and the other. And it's like, now you have people cheering for him. Yeah. And I think that's a huge, for him psychologically, it's shown up in his golf.
It's a great point.
He's playing great.
It's a great point.
So, I mean, he almost won. I mean, the PGA, he was right there.
He posted the top score going in and then got beat by 1 stroke.
I don't pay attention really much to Liv. You have to these days, but I haven't paid that much attention. I don't know what he did in Houston this week for Liv, but I'm telling you, he's playing. His mind was in winning the U.S. Open. That's what he was thinking about. So I would do Morikawa top 5, DeChambeau to win tournament just for a couple bucks.
What is DeChambeau to win? Do you know? I mean, it doesn't matter. I was curious.
16 to 1.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a shot. He's been playing awesome. It's funny. You're exactly right. Like just watching and what you can see in that YouTube channel, which is why I like that they're doing those things, is he's actually just like a really nice guy. And how many other golfers go out and are like doing shit with like normal people like that? Like nobody does that. So
I really don't think so. It's definitely a concerted effort on his point to get in front of the cameras and show who he is, but I don't think it's fake.
Doesn't feel like it.
I think that's who he is, and like
doesn't feel like it.
He's always like, for example, Frankie for Barstool, who's fucking shitty, like could never hit his wedges and like chip them. He would always be like, there's video of him like 2 years ago at the U.S. Open where he's like hitting balls on the range. He's like, Frankie, come out here, whatever. And he's like, he's like walking him through chipping because he's like, you fucking, messing with him. Like, you fucking suck. Like this, you need to do this and that and the other. And it's video of like them on the range at the US Open with him like trying to fix his stuff. So
that's crazy.
He's always really been like that, but he's always tried to be a hard ass in the media and this and that and the other. And so,
and I think Koepka and him's feud. Koepka being no, but I'm saying when that happened, like that was part of the reason I was like, man, this guy plays super slow. He kind of just doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. Yeah. Koepka doesn't like him, and Koepka was on Barstool and some like shows like that, and so I started to be like, kind of like take Brooks Koepka's side. I like DeChambeau way more than Brooks Koepka. I can't stand Brooks Koepka anymore.
And they're both friends. It's just it does get frustrating when you're someone like Koepka who takes a club out of your bag, takes one practice swing and swings.
Sure.
And you're sitting out there with DeChambeau who's like, okay, where's the win? Because he's still very like that on the golf course.
Even on his YouTube videos,
he's like that.
It's like
so,
that, yeah.
But I think he's got a real shot there because Pinehurst has got waste areas and stuff like that where you can drive it.
Right.
You can get lucky. You can get lucky breaks in that waste area where it's not like terrible lies and the rough. I mean, it's almost not say it's non-existent. You can be in bad spots, but there's a lot of waste area and stuff. I just think it suits DeChambeau, and he's been playing well. So who knows?
I would be fine.
That would be my.
He's only won
pick.
one major, right? One U.S. Open.
I think it's just a one.
I think it's one U.S. Open. Mm-hmm. So we'll run through a couple of these quickly. We had Carlos Alcaraz won the French Open.
Yep.
He defeated in the semis Yannick Sinner, who is the most recent Grand Slam tournament champion winner. He won the Australian Open.
Number one in the world, yeah.
He is the new number one in the world. And so he beat both Yannick Sinner and Sasha Zverev after being down 2-1 in terms of sets in each of the final two rounds, both to Sinner and Zverev. He was down 2-1. Actually, I don't know if you watched the entire Zverev match, but
I did. I didn't watch a lot of it.
It was actually now to be fair, Zverev ran out of gas for sure, but Zverev was down 5-2 in the third.
Yeah,
rattled off five straight games, broke him 3 times or 2 times in a row, which is crazy. And then so after that, credit to Alcaraz because it felt like Sasha was going to run away and win it. Finally, get his Grand Slam, and he just can't do it. Like it wasn't even close. The last 2 sets, he basically gave up on the 4th set after getting broken a second time, and then in the 5th set, I turned it off because I was, even though I'm not like a Zverev fan, I know Alcaraz has already won a couple, and I was like, Zverev may never win one. He's there. I hope he wins. And I knew after the 4th set it was over. You could just tell.
Yeah, I was kind of rooting for him. I mean, Carlos is obviously going to win. He hasn't won the French yet before now.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to win several of them as long as he's not, injured or whatever's going on. But it really shows you that he needs to the one thing he needs to work on, Carlos, is his serve gets very spotty. This is technical for not a lot of people watching. His serve can be very average, and it's like Zverev cleaned that up 3 years ago. He used to have double fault yips, and like he'd play and have like 15 double faults in a match. Still be able to win because he's that good. Carlos, like if you're up 5-2 in a set, you should never, typically, especially being that good. But it was probably a single. I mean, I need to look at it. It's probably a single break, but he needs to be better behind his serve. That's the only knock you can have on him, and that's kind of why Sinner's the new number one, because he's gotten much better in the last year on like never losing serve. There would be a lot of times where he'd face break points, and he's got the bigger serve out of the two. But Carlos, that's the only knock you have on him. I mean, the rest of his game's so great. So, it's going to be, I think you'll have Zverev ended up winning 4 or 5 majors by the time it's all said and done. But the new generation.
You think Zverev will win 4 or 5 majors?
Yeah,
really.
He's still young enough. I think.
Really?
I think he will. And then you have Sinner and Carlos.
They'll win a ton.
10 plus.
10 plus
I think
each.
because there's a new generation coming up, but I do think that those guys will win 10 plus. I think you'll see Zverev at the 4 or 5 range. I think once he gets the first one, then they'll start, coming maybe one a year over the next 5 years or whatever.
Right.
So it is crazy. It's funny because everybody puts Zverev down, and rightfully so. He hasn't been able to break through, and he blew that big U.S. Open to Dominique team when he was up.
Was brutal.
But he does have a gold medal, which is hilarious.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
None of like Djokovic is apparently they've been saying that like Djokovic is like sure he's gonna play Wimbledon. He wants to win Wimbledon, but like his focus is trying to win a gold medal.
Because that's the last chance.
Yes, because that's his last chance.
That's crazy that he's never won one.
Yeah. Well, it's once every 4 years, right? So it's just
and it's only it's 3 setters, right? It's not 5 setters. That makes it much more. Makes it much more difficult.
That's why Zverev ended up winning.
Right.
So you can have a bad first set and end up busting out. So it'll be interesting. I think Djokovic is trying to put. He definitely wants to win Wimbledon, but his eggs are in the Olympic. He wants a gold medal.
That's fair.
So yeah.
Speaking of the Olympics, Bailey, can you believe that Caitlin Clark got left out off the Olympic team? How dare the Olympic Committee? Very political. I mean, I guarantee you, Diana Taurasi, who's a bum, by the way.
Oh, please.
Is out there,
UConn great.
Was out there lobbying. This is what? Yeah. It is. It's Isaiah Thomas with
my brother said the exact same thing. Shout out Jeremiah, but she claims I never give him any shout outs on the
Jeremiah,
show.
shout out.
We love you, Jeremiah.
We love you, Jeremiah. I want you on the show.
But he's like, it's just like Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. It is. I agree.
It is. Diana Taurasi was out there. And if you guys don't play, I'm going to organize everybody to commit to not play in it if she gets on the team.
And we'll get right back on Caitlin Clark, but funny little tidbit for you. I was at his house the other day during the, because I gave him the shout out for calling out the Kentucky Derby. I went over there for the Preakness. He's like, I'm going to call the winner of the Belmont. You just fucking watch. He was snoring in his recliner during the race. I'm sitting there watching. I didn't wake him up because he's just.
So he didn't pick the race?
No, yeah, because he was snoring the whole way. But
you did. How dare you not wake him up and let him pick the race?
He
Come on.
He pick the winner anyway.
Dornock won.
He was not going to pick Dornock. He'll probably comment, I was going to pick Dornock. But no, he was not going to pick him.
That was a big upset. But yes, Caitlin Clark, she also had her first 30-point game the other night in a win. They beat the Mystics, who I believe were 0-10. Now they're 0-11. But yes, Caitlin Clark left off the Olympic team. It's caused a huge debate. This is crazy how big of a divisive topic this has become. Like, it really is. And Adam Silver was asked about it in his NBA Finals interview because we had the hard foul. We talked about it last week with Kennedy Chandler, how she spells it, and Angel Reese clapping, and you have this clash of, whether you want to say it out loud or not, it's a racial thing. I mean, it is. This is America. Everything is about race. And so you have I'm not saying all white people support Caitlin Clark and all black people support Angel Reese, but that is the majority of the two groups. And you have this clash together. And I see it on social media every single day. And you have people calling other people racists if they say one supports the other. And, it's just kind of crazy how the landscape of this country has been. I was thinking about this the other day, talking, and I don't want to get political, but 10, 20 years ago, the majority of Americans were pretty moderate. And in the last 5 years, it's become a very divisive country. And we're now seeing it in sports. We're now seeing it in women's fucking basketball.
And that makes me fucking sick. Like I told you the other day in a text message, I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater. Oh, Caitlin Clark does great. I'm just fucking tired of scrolling through shit and seeing Caitlin Clark. Wait, what did the Indiana Fever do? I don't give a fuck what the Indiana Fever did. I need the WNBA to return to its rightful place in the sewer of sports. That's all I need. I hope Caitlin Clark has a great career. Hope she's happy. I hope she keeps selling out fucking arenas. I don't give a fuck that whatever. What was the girl's name that pushed her down? Something Carter?
Kennedy Chandler.
Yeah. I never needed to know her name. I never needed to know that girl's name. Ever. And when Caitlin Clark went to the WNBA, I thought I was going to get to escape this fucking shit. But I can't. It's on your every talk. I'm scrolling through ESPN, maybe trying to see who's winning the fucking Stanley Cup. And I see, Caitlin Clark was pushed down by another girl from the Chicago Sky. And the girl from the Chicago Sky says, I don't care who she is. She's only good at shooting threes. And I got Angel Reese flashing fucking gang signs off the bench. I don't fucking care. And neither does 95% of America. So please, for the love of God, stop it. Stop it, ESPN. Stop.
I can promise you.
That's all I got.
It's a great rant.
Jesus fucking.
I have to give it to you. It's one of the better rants I've heard ever. But yeah, to guarantee you, the one company that is not going to stop is ESPN. Now, Fox might. Yeah, Fox Sports might. You might get other shows. ESPN ain't stopping shit. They're pushing that shit down our throats till we choke on it.
I don't watch any of the fucking talking heads like your dad does.
Neither do I.
Like your dad does all day. But I'll say this. If Fox Sports, which is horrible, Nick Wright and fucking Broussard and those guys, if they came out and said, we're not talking any WNBA, they would have my viewership. I'd be over there. 0 WNBA. What we can promise you guys at home is we're not going to talk about the WNBA. Count me in. I'm in. Oh, by the way, I'm scrolling through ESPN right now. Oh, sorry. This is a soccer page. Regardless, there's off-season soccer, all kinds of stuff going on. The NWSL power rankings. You want to talk about not giving a shit? God. I mean, it's just, guys, quit trying to make things that are not important.
Dude,
they're not.
They're just, that's what they're doing. They're
not
doing.
important. You got to quit pushing. I mean, it's just, it's just so out of touch. It's like with politics, you made a perfect comparison. It's so out of touch. It's like polar opposites on each side. 90% of America's in the middle there, but they cater to the lunatics that watch the news every day.
I agree.
And it's like,
which isn't even news anymore.
I mean, it's just like, gee, I mean, it's the WNBA. I guess I get it because ESPN shows games, so they're trying to like pump it up. I'm not.
It's also sure. The NBA. The NBA owns the WNBA, and they're pushing ESPN, who's their partner, and everybody.
It's been a losing proposition for.
It still is.
It still is. Still is.
You think they're making money now chartering fucking flights? You're out of your fucking mind.
Crazy. If I was an owner, we'll leave. It'll be another 10-minute rant. If I was an owner and they came to me and be like, these girls want to start taking chartered flights, I'd be like, I would have a lot. I mean, you probably can't say this on air. Be a lot of things said like, oh, really? Is that what they want to do? Put them on the fucking Greyhound bus. The Greyhound around the country. I'm just so sick. And there's no way these girls like can even counter this point. The league loses fucking money. It loses money. And they take charter planes around the country to play these games. It's a 12-team fucking league. Fucking so stupid, man.
Okay.
I'm done with it. I can't do it.
All right.
I can't take any more. Guys, America, I tried to hang in there as long as I could. We'll have Big Dog on next week. Talk about Caitlin Clark and his fever.
He's a fan now.
I know. No, I know. I was disgusted when I heard that. And I told him that.
Good.
I told him.
All right, two quick topics and we're done. All right, Dan Hurley today announced he was not going to take the Los Angeles Laker job.
Yep.
I have to say this. It's the right call. It's 100% the right call.
I would agree. I mean, I don't think
they offered him 6 years, $70 million, so it was $11.5 million a year. Would have made him a top 5 paid coach in the NBA.
But in LA, it takes. I mean,
exactly.
Taxes, it's like
so. It was double what he's making now. However, he's in contract renegotiations. Yeah. I guarantee you, he is going to be one of, if not the highest paid coach in college.
He'll be the highest.
So
paid
he will be paid $7 to $8 million, probably $8 a year. So you add 8, it's 8 versus 11.5 going to California,
it's about the same.
State income tax, cost of living, all that. So basically now you're saying, do I want to coach in the NBA or do I want to coach in college? Well, I'm a god at UConn. I've won back-to-back national titles. And he was smart. He said, I'm staying and I'm not leaving. And I was really impressed with the Lakers' job so that he can keep his options open to go back to the NBA at any point. But I want to go back to try to make history. He might believe that, but I don't think he does. He's not winning a third national title in a row. I don't think. I think it's too hard of an era. The era is too hard to win that many in a row. 2 is almost impossible. The fact that
not to mention he lost his whole
everybody.
Fucking team.
They lost everybody. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen. So you look at the situation then. Do I want to coach in college where I have all this leeway? He could coach there for the next 20 years and be fine, right? You win one national title. Well, you win one national title. I'm just saying, if you win one, then yeah, 4 or 5 years, it's shit and it's terrible. You're going to go. You win back-to-back. It's really hard to ever, at least for a decade. I'll give him that. At least a decade. He is safe. And here's the thing. The way the landscape is, he may not win another national title for a while, but they're going to be competitive every year. They're going to be in the mix. And UConn tends to win national titles regardless. You look at the options, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but do you really want to go? What do you have in LA? You have an aging LeBron James. right? You have an Anthony Davis who I don't really know. Like, yes, he's a star.
Never healthy.
But never healthy. Don't know what he is. How much longer is that core going to be together? You have an organization basically saying they're going to draft a guy's son despite him not being an NBA player just to keep him happy. You have a team who has fired 3 coaches in the last 5 years, and you're going to sign up for that. And you have a team who has 1 first-round draft pick in the next 3 years. And it's a pick swap with the Pelicans this year. So you can't rebuild by youth. You're going to lose LeBron in 2 years anyway. He's already shown his age in the last couple years. What positives? That's a terrible job, in my opinion. And it's all the scrutiny in the world. Not only is it all those things, he's going to go in there and immediately be expected to win. Not to mention, he is self-aware. He was on Big Cat and PFT's podcast, Pardon My Take, last year after they won the first national title, and they said, if the Houston Rockets come calling, would you go? And he said, I don't know, probably not, because I don't think I'm ready. He said, he's like, there's nobody who coaches like me in the NBA. And he's right. You can't. Could you imagine after they lost to Creighton, he's yelling at a fan back and forth. He's yelling and getting in fights with fans when they lose. Could you imagine him doing that as the Los Angeles Lakers head coach? He's screaming and losing his fucking mind at officials. He's going nuts on the sideline. And he has mellowed out quite a bit from what he was. But
he's still a psycho.
He's still a psychopath. I mean, so you think that he knows, and he's not, he doesn't not know that. He knows. He said that on the podcast last year, like, I need to mellow out a little bit more. He knows. And so it's like, if he goes to LA and that style doesn't work real quick, what's he going to do? He's not going to just change who he is all of a sudden. So what then? And he's smart. You stay at UConn. And here's the thing. He said, my ultimate goal is to get to the NBA. Great. He could go 3-4 more years at UConn, maybe win another national title, whatever. He gets tired of it. He can go take another job. He's from Jersey City. If the New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets come calling, his parents are older. They live on the West Coast or on the East Coast. His whole family's up there. It's like there's a better situation coming.
Well, funny enough, that was the whole there's a funny old Barstool beef with Rico Bosco, who's a lunatic, that with Woj from ESPN, and Bosco said that Dan Hurley was going to leave. He was at Wagner, and he was going to leave Wagner to go to Rhode Island, and Woj said, no way. He's got too much family. I think
you told me about
in, like, New Jersey or whatever, and Bosco, like, reach, and so, like, he sends it to him, like, every week until he would apologize for, like, the last 5 years.
I saw that.
Something just wild, but yeah, the whole deal was, like, his whole family's up in the Northeast, so he's not really going to leave.
He's not going to leave. His dad's older now. His mom's older.
UConn's a great job. I mean, listen, they might not win the national title this year, but next year they'll probably be favored to do it.
They're going to be favored for multiple years in a row until somebody else comes up. Right now, that's there. Last couple things. Our Brahmas. They are going to the UFL Championship. This just in, folks. Wade Phillips can fucking coach.
That's right.
Can you believe it? Baby. And Wade talked about this. I watched his press conference. And there were a ton of actual Brahma fans at walk-ons, by the way. The game was on. They had their hats on and everything.
Crazy.
100%. Yes, they're cheering for the Brahmas.
There he is right here at the front page, UFL.
And they had
guys. They love them.
They had the volume on the Brahmas game, not the NBA Finals, and there. It was awesome.
I fucking love that.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
I'm going for the ship. I'm definitely going to. If walk-ons has a volume on over the NBA Finals, I'm definitely going there for the UFL Final.
So we, Brahmas were picked. And Wade said this in the post game. Picked to finish last.
Really?
Picked to finish last in the UFL. And where are we? We are going to the championship.
Going to the ship.
We defy odds. We're a sports town, baby. We went into St. Louis.
Right.
Into the Battlehawk Dome. The Dome of Terror.
And we're going right back.
And we took them out so we can go right back there again and take out the Birmingham Stallions. And like Wade said, he said, I mean, they're a great team. They've only lost 1 game in 2 years. And by the way, that game was to us. Right. And he's damn straight. He's damn right. And when we're healthy, we're the best team in the league, and we're going for the whole thing. We're going for the whole enchilada. We're going back to St. Louis, and they're coming back to San Antonio and then Arlington for a title. Okay? I don't know what the trophy looks like. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I will get a replica trophy of the UFL Championship if they win, and we'll post it right here in Big Dog Seat since he was not allowed on the podcast anymore. So we'll take his seat and we'll put the UFL Championship on there.
Folks, listen, he'll be back next week or the next week. 1 week, 2 weeks, Big Dog's coming back. He's got I've been told big announcements coming.
I don't give a fuck.
I've always heard
all I care about is the Brahmas.
But the Brahmas Sunday at 4 p.m. I don't know if that's Eastern, but 4 p.m.
I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern. I think also
3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Apparently,
they will win the ship.
Does Wade call it the Brahmas or the Brahmas? Do you know?
I call it the Brahmas.
I
went to MacArthur.
Okay.
So I was Brahmas. But
I was told last night that I'm super white for calling it Brahmas. They're like, why do you call it that? It's Brahmas. I'm like, no, it's fucking Brahmas.
Now,
okay? It's fucking
my
Brahmas.
nieces and my brother were country up in Burney off Sisterdale Road, calling the Brahmas.
Okay.
So I'm a
Brahma guy too.
I'm a Brahmas guy. You shut the fuck up, Bailey.
It is
you
not.
don't have any Brahmas up in Tennessee, bitch. They're all down here.
What?
All right?
What?
I've had enough of your mouth this podcast. Just kidding.
What?
Oh, I forgot he's got a mic over there. He's going to come back at me now.
What is a Brahma, by the way?
It's a bull, brother.
Thank you. Okay. I knew that. Of course I knew that. All right. There was one. Was there anything else I wanted to say?
Bailey, we have any Vanderbilt news we need to break on the show?
Yeah.
What's going on with the Door Report? Are they still in the fight with the Tennessee radio guys? What's going on? Why don't you talk into your mic? You got a mic over there. Why don't you talk into that? Let's get you on the show.
That was the whole point of this, Bailey. Come on now.
What's going on?
Yeah, Will Bowling was going after them. He has some Nashville radio show. He ran track or something at Tennessee.
Oh.
He's going after their little podcast is what he calls it.
This is the guy you sent me with the radio show?
Maybe.
No, is it or not?
Oh yeah, I sent you the episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He ran track at Tennessee. That's all he did. And he has the audacity to sit there and act like radio is big time. How dare he? Fucking radio is almost dead. The fuck is that guy smoking?
Hopefully.
Podcasts are way more popular than radio.
Radio can't be dead,
Yeah,
please.
the door report,
I like radio.
The Door Report has more followers than his show on social media.
The Door Report.
I love it.
I will say this.
Trevor and Will,
you know, I love
shout out.
hating on Vanderbilt. Those guys, the clip Bailey did send me or whatever they were talking,
Pretty funny.
They were good. They were good.
I liked them. Maybe we'll get them to do a little joint episode with us if we get a little bit bigger.
That would make Bailey's life.
All right, we're going to close it out. Tell me if you want to answer this or not. There was a debate this week, and people were still talking about it like the whole week, where CJ Stroud went on a podcast and said, and he was asked, would you rather have Eli Manning's career or Aaron Rodgers? Did you see that?
Yeah, but here's the thing. So CJ Stroud just must be a bona fide Aaron Rodgers hater because he said that. And then in another episode, I think on the same podcast, he had the audacity to say, and listen, I'm a Matt Stafford guy, but he said that if Matt Stafford was on Aaron Rodgers' Packers, he would have won 3 or 4 championships.
Wait, that's what he said?
Yes. It's out in the public. He said that if Stafford was on Rodgers'
I mean, I
Packers,
love me some Stafford.
Me too, but he said he would have won at least 3 titles.
Wow.
And Rodgers had 1.
No, he definitely is.
Yeah, and then he badmouthed Rodgers again about, would you say it was, he'd rather have Eli instead of Rodgers' career? Yeah, I mean, he's just.
Well, and I understand if you're just looking at that statement, the logic of it, like, would I rather have 2 Super Bowls or 1? Okay, sure. But if you're saying who has the better career, it's obviously fucking Aaron Rodgers. It's not even comparable. Yeah. So I don't know. I am curious to see, because like I know obviously Kelsey has his podcast and a lot of people have podcasts now, but I don't think, unless I'm wrong, I don't think any major NFL quarterbacks have podcasts.
Does he not?
It's not his.
It's not his.
But
is he on with Micah Parsons?
I think he is.
I've seen him with Micah Parsons on a lot of clips. Yeah. So I don't know if
the one he was on was the I forget. It was
the name of it.
Yeah, but anyway, it was the other one he's on is with Micah Parsons. I'm just curious to see, like, he's out there saying I would like this guy over this guy about a guy who's still in the league and talking about players, and I'm just curious to see the repercussions. Like, oh yeah, he's rookie of the year and he's great now. But like, if he has a bad year or something and he's out there doing podcasts like that, like, I get it. Like, it's a different era. A lot of people do it. I'm just curious to see what happens, because it sure looks like he's real comfortable right now. And I really don't know if I would be going on there if I was an NFL quarterback and talking about other NFL quarterbacks like that.
Frankly, he's probably fucked because I traded for him in fantasy football.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
if you need
fucked.
A curse.
No, not for fantasy, though.
Yeah, that's true.
If I traded for him, I'd fucking end his career.
He'd be dead.
Just like when I got Russell Wilson, I ended his career.
I think, I agree. I don't think that's necessarily a good look.
I don't think it's the smartest thing in the world.
He is a bona fide Aaron Rodgers hater for those 2 comments.
So weird. It's so random that he would.
And I like Stafford. Like, we both like Stafford.
We're huge Stafford guys. I think Stafford, if he was on a better team at the beginning of his career, would have won more Super Bowls. But anyway, all right. We'll wrap it up. We might have gone over. I might have to cut some of this down. Regardless, great episode. We had the interview at the beginning. covered a lot of topics, got through the NBA Finals. We'll be back next week, and we will be covering, hopefully, the end of the NBA Finals, and we will be getting into some NFL and college football predictions. We're coming up on the season, boys. It's not too far away. All right?
3 months.
3 months. 3 months. Just take your hibernation pills, drink a beer, wash it down, sleep for 3 months, and before you know it, you'll wake up, and it'll be fucking football season, and we'll be back. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SlobPod. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, let us know what you think. Anything helps. Comments, likes, any interaction with our channel helps the algorithm. We don't really know how it works, but we know it does help us. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and we'll be back next week. As always, thank you guys for tuning in.